really been pleased with how they've worked. First, the two freshmen that we've got. Obviously, you've got Jontavius Whitlow and you got Devin Barrett. And real pleased with how they've done. They're a little banged up, but they're doing a good job. And then, of course, you got C.J. Tolbert, Malik Miller, and Cam Martin. And one day I think one guy's ahead, and the next day it's another guy, and the next day it's another guy. So the competition is really good, and we're just continuing to kind of filter through things and see who really comes to the top. So we've had one scrimmage, and obviously we'll scrimmage again on Saturday, and that's really the big test day for all those guys.
I know Cam Martin had some plays in the scrimmage. He's gotten a little bigger and stronger. What have you seen out of him this year in his second year?
He is bigger. I think last year he was about 12 to 15 pounds lighter, and so I think right now he's a little bit more effective runner between the tackles. The thing that's really impressed me this fall is he's always been a willing pass protector. He'll stick his nose in there and try to battle him in terms of pass protection, but now he's got a little more girth to him, and he can do that a little bit better. So that's been pleasing.
At what point did you guys decide Whitlow was going to be a running back?
It was sometime this summer. We just, from a depth standpoint, I think one of the lessons that we learned last year is we got to have enough depth at that position, and that's a position where, we've had some guys that have gotten hurt before. Obviously, KJ's been hurt before, and Bubba's been hurt before, and Malik Miller's been hurt before. So we just wanted to make sure that we had another guy that had a good skill set that could provide us some depth, and we've been real pleased with him. He's done well.
Having a guy like that who's got multiple talents, too, is not a bad thing to put him in.
Absolutely. Really both the freshmen, really there's three aspects that you look at. What kind of runners are they? What kind of pass protectors are they? And then what kind of pass receivers are they? And both those two freshmen have those skill sets, and they're good at all of them. You don't really know how they're going to do in pass protection and how they're going to display their toughness, so to speak. And both those guys have really done well. They're going to be good players. Now, what their role is as a freshman, we'll see. It might be very limited. You just don't know yet, but we're pleased with both those guys.
We know Carry-On and Cam were held out of the scrimmage last Saturday. Is there any plan to have them scrimmage at all this fall?
There may be a few snaps. Now, there won't be a lot, and I've done it both ways. I can remember there's been some really good players that I've coached that you haven't given any reps to, and then there's been some that I've coached that have been good players that you gave reps to, and unfortunately, one year I was coaching at Arkansas, Niall Davis breaks his ankle in the first scrimmage. So, boy, it's a fine line, and you got to get them work and contact and getting hit and ball security. So they'll get some work, but it's going to be probably pretty limited in terms of actual tackle them, take them to the ground type of stuff.
Do you think they will this Saturday, or kind of save it for later?
Kind of to be determined a little bit. We might get one of them some this Saturday and one the next. We'll just kind of play it by ear. The main thing right now is trying to get some of those younger guys a lot of reps if we can. So.
What's the biggest thing that you saw in this the beginning of camp that has pleased you or surprised you?
Well, from the running back standpoint, I think Kerryon Johnson came back for the first time in his whole athletic career. He had an off season in terms of he wasn't having to overcome some type of injury in terms of a surgery, and so he was able to get a lot of quality time with Coach Russell in the weight room, and he's a bigger, stronger, faster player. So from his standpoint, that's the thing that I've seen that's been really pleasing. Cam Petway, one of the things that he really didn't do as well as I would have liked is pass protection. That's one of the elements of his game that I think needed to be revved up a little bit, and he struggled in the spring some, but so far in fall camp, he's been really, really good with that. And so pleased with both those guys. They hadn't missed a snap in terms of practice time with an injury or anything along those lines, and they're working good and have a good attitude.